Now we are going to explore the different the functionalities offered by the Elastic Security or the SIEM. So we're going to see each and every functionality, and then how we are going and we are going to explore the different functionalities now. So first, so before that, we have to. I'm gonna log into this Elastic search. So, so I have username and password. So now you can see the welcome screen. So where you, in the home screen you can see the security. So where we are going to the security, that is the SIM and endpoint security. This UI, so if the very first you can see is the overview. The overview section will the show you different sort of alerts, the triggered by I mean the different the alerts detected, all these things we are going to see. Let's have the some of the logs which are already ingested. Some of the honeypots logs are already ingested. So what I'm going to do is those are the logs which are almost years before. So with that logs, I'm going to explore the different functionalities offered by Elastic SIEM. So I have them the logs. So now in this particular duration, I have some of the logs. So where I'm going to use those logs to explore the functionalities. So I'm choosing share. In this range, I have the logs. I'm going to use those logs. So I have the logs here, and I can see a different deduction alerts here. So in the deduction alert trend, I can see. So when you as soon as you log into a security app, I can see the alert trend and where all the alerts are coming from, the source of the alert and everything, and the host events, that is the logs shipped by audit beads, endpoint security. So these are the beats which collects a log from different log sources and then sending those logs to Elastic Secure Elastic search, and then there is a network events which is also collected from different the log shippers which ships the logs to Elastic. And so this is how you can see as soon as you log in, and you can also customize this based on so your requirement, so you can also do the changes. And yes, you can have the different options, like here if you wanted to, the source IP you wanted to see, with the specific source IP you wanted to see the logs or the alerts you can see, or if based on the event, the category, so that is where the log was coming from. It is a network log, network traffic log, or a kind of Windows related logs. So you can, you can change according to your requirement, and also you can see the actions, like so what action has been taken, like detector rule, or so you can change here according to your requirement, but so I can make it as a rule type for easily understand. Rule name, so that I can see what all the rules are triggered mostly. So this is how you can have the overview, and then so next we are going to see the actual deductions, the same what we saw. All right, the trend, the alert informations, you can see all the alerts, and now each and every alerts and their where this alert was, for example, so adversary detected, and this is the timeline, severity, risk score, and event module where it was coming from. This was coming from an endpoint game, that is an endpoint security, and what type of action it has been taken. I mean, event actions, like what absolutely the actions, like you can see all this information, and if you want to explore more about this, you just investigate in timeline. So when you click on it, so it automatically comes here, so that you can investigate more about this particular event, right? So you can have the information here, so all the fields, and the information related to the fields you can see here, like source IP, destination IP address, and where the log was coming from, and what is the host name of this, and everything was captured here, and this help you to do a further investigation. And yeah, so we'll talk about more on the timeline analysis. We'll be talking shortly more about the timeline analysis. So this is how the detection. So you can see a different sort of events and where it is coming from. All this thing you can see here. So the next one is the host page, where you have the different types of, all the host information, like for example, so when I click on the host buttons, I can see here. um, So before jumping into the host, I so where in the detection tab itself we have so manage detection rules. So when you click the manage detection rules, you can import or you can install. So these are the predefined or pre-built-in rules in Elastic. So if you want, so for actually you have to import these rules. I already imported. So then you can enable or you can activate. So these are all are, I think there are around 315 Elastic. The pre-built-in rules are there. So I've just imported these rules from Elasticsearch. So now if I wanted to activate, I just click this activate button. So if I want to edit, so for example, I wanted to see what is the definition. I mean, what is this particular rule, and when this particular rule was detected, and the definitions and the query and everything will be so the logic behind this particular rule and everything was there. So you can modify, so when you click on it, you can modify according to your requirements. You can do modifications, and then you can put it into production. So we will be, we are going to discuss this particular uh, rules, the pre-built-in rules, and uh, the custom. So you can also create your own rules by clicking on the create rule. So you can have the different options like the custom queries, threshold, and even correlation rules, which we use the EQL query to write even correlations. And you'll be using the Kibana query language to write custom queries. And so, for example, if I choose event correlation, so I have the index patterns where I choose the log source, where what is the log source to create the rule. For example, I want an endpoint security related rule, so that I have to use the end game. And if I'm having the Windows related rule, I'm gonna create so that I can have the file bit or winlog and bits. I'm gonna use it because they are the log shippers. They will be sending the logs. So that is why the log source I have to mention here, and then the query I have to specify, and then other like the about the rule name and everything you have to mention, schedule rule name. So how frequently we need to run this. Uh, so we're going to see this some more in after completing all these functionalities. We're going to create example custom query, sorry, custom rule, and so also we're going to have some of the pre-built-in rules which we already saw, and some are and also available on. elastic security documentation. So for example, so here you can have all the information related to the rules, how to create a rules like a custom query rules, machine learning rules, threshold rules, and also some of the the built-in rules. So here we have the pre-built-in rule references, which gives all the information like the description of the rule and the logic behind the rule and everything will be recorded. Every information was captured here, and so you can hear this is a rule logic. So for example, this particular schedule, when there is a scheduled task was created, so there must be an incident, or there must be an alert on your Elastic Security dashboard or on the detections tab. So, so mostly this is the scheduled task. Administrators also use for some of the legitimate applications. The same time, adversaries to maintain some persistence for a long-term persistence on the victim on the compromised mission. So he uses a different techniques to maintain the persistence. One of the method is a scheduled task. The scheduled task so to monitor the adversary schedule task creations where we are creating so this is the updated rule logic where if the event action is something the scheduled task is created, and then we were writing some exceptions like some of the persons, some of the computers accounts, and some of the usernames are excluded. So we can also write exclusions here. For examples, some of the computer names I can exclude where they are authorized to do a scheduled task. At the same time, some of the usernames not username. I mean, these usernames when you list those usernames, so they are maybe they are authorized or they are administrators can they can do they will do or their regular job also part of creation of scheduled tasks, so that we will be excluding those users. So that's how you will be creating a different sort of use cases on or different rules on Elasticsearch. So I'm going to share on the after completing of all these functionalities on SIM UI functionalities, then we can have one sample customized alert, and then we will create uh, that rule on elastic security. So, so yeah, so this is the deductions we can see. So yeah, so you can upload, I mean you can use a pre-built-in rules, or you can create your own rule based on the customer. If the customer requires to create certain specific activities wanted to monitor, you can create the custom rules. If not, if some of the rules you can utilize the built-in rules also. And coming to the host, so the host you can see all the host logs which are there. For example, you can see a different sort of hosts reporting to Elasticsearch. I mean Elastic Search, and you can see 11 hosts are reporting, and from there you can see the authentication log. I mean authentication information like the success and failed login attempts. So you can see here that an authentication tab, you can see all this information, and uncommon process, which so there are abnormal processes which are there, which can also be listed here. So it helps to do a further investigations, and you can see all the events. Uh, like all the failed login, successful login, and every log information is captured here, like flow logs. So it captures each and every log from all these 11 missions. And so now we will be focusing on authentications, right? So which is having around 6,969 failed. And so and also what you can, if you wanted to investigate one particular host, or for example I wanted to investigate this particular Windows mission, so I'll just simply drag it to the timeline. So, and then I will open the timeline. So the timeline will be giving me a clear information about this particular host, all the logs related to this host I can see. And now I can have an options different. See here the event category is authentication, and another event category is a network related. So I can see the authentication related logs, and the network logs. I can see different sort of event category I can see here, and event actions I can see. So there are some of the logs coming from win login, some of the coming from file rename event. So different, and the host name is common anyways. This is the host name I can have, and the source IP, destination IP details. So I have the source IP, destination IP details also there on the network flow logs. So now what I'm going to see is I just need only authentication related log. So for this host, what I'm going to do is I'll make it on the plus bar. If I click here on the plus symbol, so where it will be added here on the filter. So now I can see only the filter, only authentication related logs for this host. So this is how I can drill down the logs. So I can see only the authentication related logs only. You can see here almost all failed logins you can see, right? So this is how I can drill down the logs. Okay, and if you want only authentication, or if you want to only network log, you can click on the plus button so that it adds to the filter, so that you can get only the authentication, sorry, network flow related logs. So, or if you want only for a specific IP communication, if you want to monitor, you can click the same. So this is how you can drill down, and you can do a deeper investigations. Um, so this is how we can explore the. This is how you can utilize the timeline for the analysis side, and yeah. So this is how you can investigate one particular host on the timeline, and so you have multiple failed logins, multiple user authentication failed and success. So now what I'm going to do is I have the authentication tab where I can only take again I'm going to add only failed login attempts. Uh, so I can see all the failed around 10,000 plus failed attempts, right? So I can see here on the authentication tab. So this is happening administrator, and failure times is 1149 times failure, and the time was given. And I can see that mostly all the IPs are same. It is coming from 195 something like that. So in this range. So for example, so this is where I can see the most number of failed logins, and this is an IP where I can see. So this is the source IP where I can see most number of failed logins. So what I'm going to do, I'll just click this IP. I wanted to see this IP information so that it redirects to the network tab. So where I can see the the network information, sorry, IP information. So so if I want to check the reputation, so I have the virus total, and it will when I click on it, it will go to the virus total for a reputation check, and also Cisco Talos intelligence to see the reputation of those IP, and also the details, like where this IP was hosted, the reputational details, is this IP is involved any sort of threat attacks before, or it belongs to any advisor or adversary, or any threat actor. So we can see all that information. Along with that, you can also see a virus total information, which gives the reputation details, like if this IP involves any sort of threat activities before. So all this information is captured here. So this is how you can investigate the IP, and so yeah, this is how we can investigate, and so come and so if I remove it, so I can have uh, so now I can have is now I'm going to explore the network. So where I can see network level traffic, I can explore so different source IPs, network events. I can see DNS queries information, and I can see the flow from source IPs. Where the traffic is going. This is like the ISP, and how much data was transferred, and the destination IPs. All this information is captured. So So DNS traffic, HTTPS traffic, so TLS traffic. So you can see all that information for mostly for the investigations. Again, the timeline is to do a deeper investigations. You can take one particular host and then you can track it and you can just do a more investigations. The cases, I'm not sure what is this cases. Maybe you can have any issues. You can create a create a case with Elastic, but I'm not sure. I'm not. I don't think so. We were using this for any the business purposes. I mean, the business purposes in the sense the functionality and administrations. You can add the endpoint security. You can integrate endpoint security like an end game. You can integrate directly to here. So these are the different options we can explore. And we can we can create a rules, we can do investigation, we can do a hunting, we can so we were using for both an administration analysis and hunting. So yeah, so this is about the security UI and the different functionalities offered by this app. Yeah, and the next we are going to see, the different, we are going to create, so already we saw on the deduction, so where we have some of the pre-built-in rules. Uh, so, so we will try to explore the pre-built-in rules. Also, we are going to create a sample or a test rules, and then see, the deductions. Yeah. So, yeah, the next we're going to talk about all these things, the especially on the rules and the administrations.